Beloved gospel music icon Bill Gaither, who has touched millions with his inspiring songs and magnetic presence, is now going through a painful personal challenge. His health has worsened significantly, and those close to him are preparing for the hardest moments as Bill fights to hold on. His family and friends quietly say their goodbyes, reflecting on the remarkable legacy he has created. Stay with us as we look inside Bill Gaither's life in this heartfelt story of love, strength, and the lasting impact of a life dedicated to music. The rumors about Bill Gaither retiring have been circulating in recent months. Speculation is growing about whether Bill Gaither is ready to step away, signaling the end of an era for one of the most influential figures in Christian music. His absence from public events has caused concern among devoted fans and followers. The gospel legend, famous for his work with the Gaither Vocal Band and his impact on Christian music, is a name many recognize. His songs, full of meaningful spiritual themes and strong lyrics, have connected with millions over the years. However, in the last few years, fans and insiders have noticed a change in Gaither's public appearances. He has shown up less often at live shows, and his presence on TV and concerts has dropped. This led to rumors that Gaither could be planning to retire. Some suggest his health might be worsening, which could explain why he's been away from the spotlight. For someone who has spent decades performing and traveling, it's not unexpected that age might be catching up with him. Speculation grew as fans saw that Gaither, once full of energy, was less visible publicly. Reports even surfaced that close friends were talking about a transition plan for the ministry, preparing for a future without him at the helm. Given his age and health concerns, many wondered if this was the beginning of the end for his career. As the rumors spread, some began to question whether the Gaither Vocal Band would soon lose its main figure. For years, Bill Gaither had been the driving force behind the ministry, guiding its direction and making sure its music reached millions. Imagining the band without him was difficult for many fans because of the strong bond they have with Gaithers, music and message. Still, some believe Gaither's choice to step back is more about passing the leadership to the next generation of artists in the ministry. In a fictional scenario that touched the hearts of fans worldwide, Bill Gaither walks onto the stage for one of the most emotional moments of his career. The crowd, full of loyal supporters who have followed him for decades, senses that something is different today. Gaither, once full of energy and command, appears slower and more thoughtful. Takes the microphone and looks out at the sea of faces touched by his music, ministry, and message. His usually bright and confident expression now carries a heavy weight of emotion. For a moment, the audience falls silent, waiting for him to speak. Today, Bill Gaither begins, his voice breaking slightly as he gathers his thoughts. I stand here not as the man I used to be, but as someone who has lived a full life, thankful for every moment. Every song and every one of you who made this journey so special. It is with a heart full of love and, yes, a bit of sadness that I announce. Today will be the end of my active career with the Gaither Vocal Band. The audience holds its breath. Gasps spread through the crowd. No one was truly ready for this moment. Though signs of change had been visible for years, Gaither had been the guiding light of the Gaither Vocal Band. The driving force behind the music that became a symbol of gospel and inspiration is powerful. Voice helped shape contemporary Christian music, and the idea of no longer hearing it the same way felt unimaginable. The room's atmosphere grows heavy as the crowd waits for him to continue. For more than 50 years, this ministry has been my life, Gaither continues. His voice steady but still full of feeling. We've shared the stage, shared our hearts, and shared this message of hope and faith. You have all supported me, and together we have built something I will always treasure. Gaither pauses to collect himself before adding, but now it is time for me to step back. The moment has come for the next generation to take over the work we started together. While this choice is not easy, I have full confidence that the Gaither Vocal Band and this ministry will keep thriving with the same passion, love, and message that have always been at its core. The crowd stayed quiet for a long moment. Some longtime fans were close to tears, their hearts aching knowing this might be the last time Bill Gaither would lead the band on stage. Others who had seen him as a cornerstone of Christian music felt both sadness and deep respect for his choice to hand over the leadership. Gaither's eyes moved across the audience, and his voice grew firmer as he spoke to his fans, his family, and the ministry that meant so much to him. You've given me so much your love, your prayers, your support. They have always been a steady source of strength. Even though I'm stepping away from the spotlight, I'm not leaving you. I'm passing the baton to those who have stood by me for years, learning, growing, and getting ready for this moment. My son John will take over. He's prepared for this, and I believe he has the heart and vision to keep this ministry going for a long time. John Gaither, who has worked closely with his father in recent years, stepped forward as Bill's words settled over the crowd. A soft murmur spread through the audience. Some fans nodded in understanding, while others were uncertain about what John's leadership might bring. Mixed feelings filled the air. But there was also hope that the ministry would go on, even as its leadership changed. I'll still be around, Gaither reassured the crowd. Just because I'm retiring from performing doesn't mean I'm leaving completely. I'll be behind the scenes offering guidance, support, and love as always. But the time has come for a new chapter in the Gaither Vocal Band, and I trust each of you to support John and the team just as you supported me. The audience let out a collective sigh as Gaither finished. Fans stood and applauded, a blend of respect, thanks, and sadness in their claps. For many, this marked the close of a chapter in gospel music. Bill Gaither, the man who had inspired generations with his music, words, and presence, was stepping back. But he left behind a legacy that would last. As the applause continued, Gaither paused to compose himself. His family, including his wife Gloria Gaither, stood proudly beside him. Together, they had spent years building this ministry, and now they were ready for what comes next. The torch had been passed, but Bill Gaither's influence, teachings, and music would remain part of the Gaither Vocal Band's future. I may be retiring from the stage, Bill Gaither began softly. One last time, he said again, his voice steady and filled with meaning. One last time. Then he continued, but I will always be part of this ministry, and so will all of you. This isn't goodbye. It's the beginning of a new chapter, and I'm incredibly grateful to have had you all beside me through this journey. Thank you for being part of such a wonderful experience. With those heartfelt words, Bill stepped back and let his son John take center stage. The audience broke into applause once more, celebrating Bill's legendary impact and holding hope for what was to come under John's leadership. As the curtain slowly came down, Bill's physical absence from the stage became real, but his influence would remain deeply rooted in the hearts of fans, his family, and the ministry he lovingly built. When news broke that Bill Gaither was retiring from performing and stepping away from the Gaither Vocal Band, emotions ran high. Fans and loved ones felt a mix of sorrow, respect, and uncertainty. For years, Bill had been a pillar in the world of gospel music. His commanding stage presence, powerful vocals, and unwavering faith left a mark on countless lives. While his age and health suggested that this moment might come, official announcements still took many by surprise and touched them deeply. Among those most affected was Bill's family. Gloria Gaither, his wife and devoted partner in life and ministry, stood firmly beside him during the announcement. Their shared journey had spanned decades, traveling the world, spreading faith and nurturing a ministry together. The idea of Bill stepping back was emotional, yet Gloria's support never faltered. Her feelings were complex. She knew that Bill needed time to rest. His health had been slowly declining, and the years of travel, performances, and spiritual labor had taken their toll. At the same time, she recognized how loved and admired he was by his fans, and how difficult this moment would be for those who viewed him as a spiritual beacon. John Gaither stood tall beside his father during this pivotal announcement. For years, John had been quietly preparing, working behind the scenes, performing alongside Bill, and learning the ins and outs of the ministry. He knew this moment would eventually arrive. Still, standing before a crowd filled with emotion, he felt the weight of the responsibility he was inheriting. John had always admired his father not just for his musical talent and ministry leadership, but for the deep integrity and kindness he lived by. Taking on the leadership of something Bill had built from the ground up felt monumental, Yet John met the moment with quiet strength and composure. Though emotion flickered in his eyes, he was ready. This wasn't the end of the Gaither legacy, just the beginning of a new generation. And he was prepared to carry the torch. Fans who had followed Bill's journey for years felt a storm of emotions. The thought of never again seeing Bill perform live was heartbreaking for many. To them, he was more than a performer. He was a trusted voice of hope, a companion in faith, and a guiding light during life's darkest moments. His music had been a steady presence in their lives. So hearing of his retirement brought with it uncertainty. What would become of the ministry they had leaned on for so long? Yet despite the sadness, many fans showed deep understanding. They acknowledged Bill had earned his rest after decades of service. They had seen him pour every ounce of energy into his calling, and now it was his time to step back. Supporters took to social media, flooding it with heartfelt messages, thanking Bill for his ministry, sharing how his music had comforted them in loss, strengthened them in doubt, and uplifted them in faith. For them, Bill Gaither wasn't just a singer, he was family. No, even though they'd missed seeing him on stage. They trusted the ministry he nurtured would continue with the same passion and love. However, not every fan was able to accept the change so easily. Some felt let down, even abandoned. They had followed Bill and the Gaither Vocal Band for years, drawn in by the message of hope and spiritual depth. To those individuals, Bill's departure marked the close of an era. They feared what might become of the ministry without its founder's steady hand. The Gaither Vocal Band had been shaped by Bill's presence. Some wondered if the group would lose its heart and direction without him. Online, a few expressed doubt about whether the same authenticity and passion could continue under John's leadership. The transition left them feeling uncertain and a little afraid. The gospel music community as a whole also reacted with mixed emotions. Some of Bill's peers celebrated his career, praised his lasting contributions, and respected his decision to retire. They understood the magnitude of what he had built. But others expressed concern unsure whether the Gaither Vocal Band could thrive without its iconic leader. Change is always hard, especially in a ministry that has become a cornerstone for so many. Still, amid those doubts, there was hope. Many believed John Gaither was fully equipped to step up. He had spent years by his father's side, absorbing the wisdom, learning the mission, and shaping the music. Supporters of the ministry remained confident that John would guide the group forward with the same spirit and faith that defined his father's legacy. In the days following Bill's farewell, his fans united in love and gratitude. Messages poured in from around the world's prayers for his health, appreciation for his decades of ministry, and heartfelt memories of how his music had touched their lives. People recalled attending concerts, singing their favorite songs, and the comfort Bill's voice had given them in their hardest hours. While his departure left many feeling a void, it also brought a deep thankfulness for the powerful mark he had made. The Gaither Vocal Band had reached millions, and Bill Gaither's impact on Christian music was undeniable. His retirement wasn't. An end it was the closing of one powerful chapter and the opening of another. Though no one could say for certain what lay ahead, the future remained bright with possibility. Bill's absence on stage wouldn't erase the legacy he built. Instead, it opened the door for a new generation of leaders to rise, just as Bill once did. His journey might be changing course, but the story was far from over. So what lies ahead for Bill Gaither and his ministry? With Bill stepping down, many are curious about what's next for the Gaither Vocal Band. For years, he had been at the forefront of Christian music, creating a legacy that shaped an entire genre. His powerful voice, joyful performances, and unwavering devotion made him a giant in gospel music. But now, as he passes the baton, the big question lingers. What comes next? The future of the ministry may now rest in John Gaither's hands. Having worked closely with his father for years, John is no stranger to the mission or the music. He has been gradually taking on more responsibility, and many believe he is ready to lead the next chapter. While Bill's shoes are impossible to fill, John has walked alongside him for a long time, singing with the group, helping plan its direction, and learning the heart of the ministry. The legacy continues, and with John stepping forward, the Gaither name still holds firm ground in gospel music. For John, stepping into leadership isn't merely about carrying on the family name. It's about embracing the mission that Bill Gaither has poured his heart and soul into for decades. This transition is not expected to be easy. Bill Gaither's name is almost synonymous with gospel music, and it's his personal warmth, passion, and spiritual sincerity that have made the ministry flourish. Fans have long connected with that unique blend. To many, Bill isn't just a musician, he's a spiritual figure who's deeply shaped their faith and musical journey. Still, the future of the Gaither Vocal Band holds the promise of a new beginning. John Gaither brings his own voice, fresh ideas, and creativity that could inject new life and vision into the ministry. He's likely to stay true to his father's legacy while also making the band his own. Loyal followers of the Gaither Vocal Band are expected to support John's leadership, realizing that though change is happening, the heart of the ministry remains intact. In addition to the leadership transition, there's also the challenge of adapting to the modern world. The digital era has revolutionized the way music is experienced, and Christian music is no exception. Bill's work has long been heard in churches, on television, and in concert halls, but now, streaming platforms and social media dominate the landscape. To stay relevant and reach new listeners, the ministry may need to strengthen its online presence, embrace live streaming, and engage more actively with fans on digital platforms. Another path forward might see Bill Gaither stepping into a less public but still vital role. Even if he performs less frequently, he can remain involved by mentoring rising musicians, sharing his insights, and guiding the next generation of Christian artists. Bill's devotion to spreading faith through music won't fade. Though he may not be on stage as often, his wisdom and spirit can still deeply influence the ministry. This phase might allow him to focus on what he values most: writing, speaking, mentoring, and perhaps even expanding his charitable and outreach work, all while remaining behind the scenes. Despite these shifts, the foundational values of the Gaither ministry are unlikely to change. For years, the Gaither Vocal Band has stood firmly on the pillars of faith, family, and music principles that have set it apart in the Christian music world. These core beliefs will likely continue to guide the ministry's direction. Who was raised with these same convictions is expected to carry them forward as he takes the reins. The close-knit nature of the Gaither Vocal Band is another key element that fans have come to cherish. Even with changes at the top, the sense of unity among singers, musicians, and supporters is likely to remain a central part of the ministry's identity. One major tradition that's expected to continue is the beloved Gaither Homecoming series. These gatherings have been a cornerstone of Bill's career, showcasing powerful performances and heartfelt moments that bring the gospel community together. It's highly probable that the homecoming concerts will carry on with John and other family members stepping into more prominent roles. The Gaither Homecoming brand has become a respected and cherished part of Christian music, and it may become even more central to how the ministry evolves. With Bill still offering his guidance, these concerts have the potential to reach wider audiences while honoring the spirit and emotional depth that made them special in the first place. As the Gaither ministry enters a new chapter, there will certainly be obstacles, but also great opportunities for renewal and growth. Bill's retirement signals the end of a remarkable era, yet it also opens the door to exciting new beginnings. Whether the Gaither Vocal Band maintains its current form or explores new directions remains to be seen. What is certain is that Bill Gaither's legacy will continue to inspire and shape countless lives in the years to come. Fans will honor his profound impact on gospel music while supporting John as he leads the ministry into its future. The Gaither Vocal Band's influence is expected to remain strong, touching hearts and lifting spirits across generations with its timeless message of faith and love. While the future of Bill Gaither's ministry continues to unfold, one thing is undeniable: the rock-solid foundation he built will uphold whatever path lies ahead. The Gaither story is far from over. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.